Hey ladies and gentlemen, Paul here again, and as you can see, our mate Dirawong, our good luck charm, is still here hanging around. All's well in the universe, no doubt. So today I'd like to touch on a very common saying or idiom that I'm sure you've all heard. There's no use crying over spilt milk. So this actually does, I couldn't find a lot to go as far back as possible as some proverbs. The original written form of this that I've found was in a book of Proverbs by James Howe in 1659, and it was basically saying no weeping for shed milk. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, we know it today as more commonly just saying spilled milk, and that shortened version of the saying actually conveys the whole message. It's that common and well known. So, surface level meaning. Basically, it's a waste of time complaining or feeling sad about something that is done and cannot be changed. So, this means once something is done, it is done. Once the mistake has been made, there is no point dwelling on it. There's no point living in the past, which is something we hear a little bit about these days. So thinking too much in either the past or the future actually can create stress and other issues. And those other issues are spending too much time thinking about the past can help to create or bring about the mindset of depression. And spending too much time thinking or living mentally in the future can create anxiety. So if you allow your thoughts to spend too much time thinking of the past, it can create problems, and too much time thinking of the future can create more problems that are basically because you're not spending time being present. And living in and focusing on the present is actually a very accessible and beneficial strategy that you can adopt in order to combat depression and anxiety. It may not be the silver bullet, that's not what I'm saying. But to actually be more present will help to manifest more stress-free living, less depression, less anxiety, which in turn should be more happiness, which is coming back to that contentment that we've spoken about before in earlier videos. Now, speaking of other videos, if you remember the third video we looked at, take a deep breath, count to 10. Okay, and in that video we first talked about and looked at the power of focusing on your breath. Now, your breath is the only automatic function of the body that you can choose to take control of. Choose to take control of. And in that same video, we also mentioned that there was a saying from Kung Fu Panda: yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. And by choosing to embrace that only automatic function of the body, you then control your breath by breathing, as we spoke in that third video, by breathing deeply into your belly. And remember that the optimal breath cycle is actually around 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is nice, long, controlled, deep breath in, nice, long, controlled, deep exhalation of around 6 if possible. And that breath cycle will help to bring your mind into the present time and moment. And that will begin to reduce anxiety, depression that you may be experiencing. And again, I am not saying that it's the silver bullet, the be all and end all, but it most certainly will help. Okay? So the core of this saying, there is no use crying over spilt milk, is basically saying what's done is done. What's in the past you cannot change. And if you cannot change it, shouldn't be spending too much time focusing on what you cannot influence, what you cannot change. So with that in mind, I would like to touch on a quote from what is known as the Serenity Prayer. Not all of it, but just a little bit, which is attributed to an American theologian, Reinhold Niebuhr. So, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. Now, if you remember, we also spoke in another video that people are, we all come from the same source, and everyone you interact with is either a messenger or a teacher of lessons. Every cloud has a silver lining was that video. Okay, so accepting the hardships, even the ones you can't change, the ones that are done, as a lesson or a message, helps you to accept the pathway to peace. Peace within, contentment. And by utilising the breath and that nice deep inhalation down to the belly and that nice deep controlled exhalation of about 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, will help to reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. So, I hope with that simple little saying, you see again, vastly more wisdom is caught up in this little saying than what maybe we give it credit for. So, that's it for another day, another week. We'll be back for probably the last installment, because this is number 12. We'll be back for the last installment of Sargacious Sundays with video number 13 next week. I would ask you, if you're enjoying these videos, or maybe you think somebody else might, please like and share and subscribe the Facebook tab as well. And with that, him and me will bid you a merry adieu, and we will see you next week for another installment of Sargacious Sunday. Ciao for now, everyone. Bye-bye.